Well, joining us on the line from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, is author and journalist Mark Glenn to discuss the Egyptian uprising. Now, these protests, not just in Egypt, but in Tunisia, Yemen, etc., are unprecedented for the region. Why is it that the amount of coverage being given by the mainstream media does not reflect this fact?
Well, I, to be honest, am troubled with the coverage that it is getting for the simple reason that Israel and America do not appear to be panicked over this. If these revolts that are taking place were truly what they would appear to be, and it really looked as if the Tunisian, Egyptian, and Yemenese people were about to replace these autocratic leaders with leaders who are more sympathetic towards the interests of their own people, Israel and America would be panicked over this. But according to the news coverage that we're watching, they do not appear to be panicked, and this has me and many other people who watch these events troubled, because we have to ask the question whether or not these revolts are taking place with at least the tacit approval of Israel and America, who, for all intents and purposes, they may make a big show of getting rid of these old autocrats with the intention of bringing in new ones. And so this is what has me troubled, because I think that in the end, what is really going on here is that Israel and America are going to exploit these protests that are taking place in order to bring in new leaders who are basically going to keep things as they have been, the status quo. There will be, of course, a few small changes that will take place. But in general, Israel will remain the sole power in the Middle East, and no Arab countries will dare challenge her. So that is my concern over everything that is taking place.
Right, but as we've seen in Tunisia, the protesters and the people in general are not happy with the cronies of the same government in power, and they are trying to see this to the end. Will we see that in Egypt too?
I think it's very possible, and let me make this clear. I think that the rage that we see among the Tunisian and the Egyptian people is genuine rage. I don't think that this is affected. However, as I said, as we know, Israel and America, they have a history of taking genuine rage like that, and using it towards their own interests. So yes, I do believe that the Tunisians and the Egyptians are intent upon taking this to the end. As I said, the end of this may just mean a younger Mubarak or a younger Ben Ali, who will keep basically the same policies in place. And also, too, what has to be kept in mind, Ahmadinejad in Iran, even though they do not enjoy the kind of popularity among the Arab leaders who are firmly in the pockets of Israel and America, among the Arab people themselves, they look up to men such as Ahmadinejad. And so when we see these things taking place, these revolts taking place in Tunisia and Egypt, we have to ask the question whether or not this is being allowed to take place so that these new leaders will be brought in order to overshadow the popularity of men such as Ahmadinejad in the Middle East.
Right. Well, another interesting thing that comes out is that U.S. continues to stress upon stability in Egypt and also Egypt's exemplar ties with Israel. Would democracy and a freer society undermine the stability that the U.S. prefers? Absolutely.
If the people in the streets, whether it's Tunisia, whether it is Egypt, whether it is Jordan, whether it is Saudi Arabia, if the people in the streets were able to dictate policy for their countries, especially with regards to Israel's position, with regards to America's position in the Middle East, we would see a radically different shift in the relationship that exists between these countries and the United States and Israel, if the people could speak. So, yes, there's no question about the fact that bringing power to the people would be better for the region. Obviously, though, it would not be better for Israel and America.
Indeed. Well, we're going to just have to wait and see how the situation unfolds. That was author and journalist Mark Glenn speaking to us from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Many thanks for your comments here on Press TV, sir.